Hi there and welcome back. Today we're going to do a window card. It's a really elegant card with vellum and distress oxide ink, as well as a little heat embossing and really any type of dies that you want to use. So I've already got my panels cut down 5.5 and 4 1/4. Now the white panel is slightly smaller than 5.5 and 4 1/4. And I've already cut out the center there with a circle die, but you can use whatever shape you'd like, diamond, heart, square, to get the look you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my white cardstock onto the black panel there, and I'm just going to use some temporary adhesive to keep that down, because I am going to have to center my sentiment in that circle. So I just want to make sure that when I do go to put my card together, everything lines up where it needs to be. Now I'm going to use a sentiment from a stamp set I got at Michael's. Now it's a fairly inexpensive stamp set. It's just basic holiday sentiments: Happy Easter, Happy Father's Day, Merry Christmas. We're going to use the Happy Mother's Day today. And I'll line that up in the circle of my card as soon as I can get my positioner in frame here. I'll do that here in a sec. So now that I've got that lined up here, I'm going to remove the white panel. And we'll just quickly go through the embossing here. I'm just anti-static tool, Versamark ink, white embossing powder. One of the things I do, and I do this often, and I keep making the same mistake, and you'd think I'd learn, is sometimes I forget to use that anti-static tool, and I've already stamped and I've already added the embossing powder, and you really can't recover from that, especially on black. It can be pretty tough. So now I'm just going to grab one shade of color, and I'm going to use the shaded Lilac Distressed Oxide. I'm going to grab some vellum. Here's the die I'm going to be using, just a basic flower die, nothing special. So I'm just going to add some color to that vellum. I don't want, I want a light tone color. I'm going to add some color to some white cardstock as well. This is going to be for the leaves. Now you can use any die you like for the leaf, any leaf die you have, any cutout you've got. You can see here I use the Simon Says Stamp Clustered Leaves die, really just so I can cut up that one piece. So now I'm going to die cut the flower die on some white cardstock. Now I have a scrap piece of white cardstock with some adhesive already on the back. So I cut those out and I'm adding them to the vellum. Now the trick here is I've added those flower die cuts to the vellum, but on the back side of where I added the ink, because the side with the ink, my die cuts won't adhere to that. It's just too greasy, for lack of a better word. It just won't adhere to the side of the vellum that has the ink. So it is adhered to the back, which is fine by me, because again, I just want a light tone. So now what I'm doing is cutting the excess vellum off. I'm getting as close to this die as I possibly can, just to cut that out. So now what I've got my two flowers, I've got my leaves, and now what I want to do is start to put the card together. What I realized when I put my white cardstock over my black is that I actually want some of those leaves, but in white only, kind of on the black cardstock, kind of coming into that circle from underneath. So I just cut kind of one end of that clustered leaves die, and then I'm just gonna kind of put it in and around the sentiment. just kind of like it's coming in from underneath. So you can use whatever leafy die you have, or whatever drawing you have to put underneath this. Now I would love to say that I came up with this design. I didn't. I actually saw this on an Altenew website. I think it was one of their designers. Now I have looked for it because I wanted to link it in this video. I cannot find it anywhere. I checked. One day we were really slow at work and I think I spent 2 hours looking for it. I've looked for it for a couple more times and I can't find it. So I am so sorry I can't link it here. I would love to say, like I said, that I came up with this design. I didn't. I've definitely altered it for sure to what works for me or what I like. But yeah, I did not come up with it, but it is a design I do love. So getting back to the card here, you can see I cut out some foam just to give that white piece some dimension. Now I'm going to take this leaf cluster, I'm going to cut it up, I'm going to start positioning them, moving them around. This leaf cluster is pretty versatile. I mean, you can do quite a bit with it. This is actually the first time I've used it. So I put it in here. I pretty much knew it would work out really well just based on the design, based on what I've seen other people do with it. So again, very versatile, but you can use whatever you like, whatever flowers you like with this window. So now I'm just gluing on my flowers, getting those lined up, and once I've got my leaves glued on, I'll glue on that last flower there, and then we'll just put the card together, and that's really it. So it is a simple card. There's just a lot of steps that need to be taken when creating it. So that's it. It's together. We'll get that white panel onto the black panel. Again, just some liquid adhesive. Don't use liquid adhesive very often when putting my panels together. Only because I like using my double-sided tape, because the way I use it, and I will use it on the back side of my black cardstock here to add it to my folding card, is that it's easier for me to position it, just because I'm such a stickler about the position of my panels. So there it is. We'll just cut off some hangovers there and get those out of the way. And so now I'm just lining up my panel with my folded card, and this is where I'm going to bring in that double-sided adhesive. Lay that out. I go through a lot of this adhesive. Like I said, this is usually how I like to put my panels on, because I saw somebody else do this in a video, and that's just folding kind of the edges out there, and then it gives you the chance to line it up, and you can really line it up perfectly before you press down a corner and then just carry on. So I'll just make sure that my panel is nice and secure here. My double-sided tape is all pressed down. And there it is, guys. I think it's a beautiful card. I love this design. Again, I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. I did not come up with it. So thanks for joining me today, guys, and hope to see you next time.